Hello and welcome everybody to my Endsinger Extreme Guide. This fight was an absolute blast to progress and I hope you'll have fun yourselves. The fight will start off with the usual AoE that causes a head and two meteors to spawn, either an orange pair of meteors or a blue pair. The head will cleave in the direction of its arrow it's pointing to. Upon collision, the orange meteors will cause a huge AoE based off where they collided, and the blue meteors will cause a knockback from where they collided. After the first pair of meteors, the second pair of meteors will spawn immediately. So if it's orange first, it will be blue now. It can be blue first though and orange afterwards. Always keep an eye on the head though and don't get knocked into the space where she cleaves, because it will go off at the same time approximately. The blue meteors cannot be knockback resisted. After that, we will stack in the middle of the arena for Grip of Despair. This will chain all healers and tanks to DPS players. We wait till the tappers appear, and then we break them and go into our pre-assigned tower soak spots. She will cast Elenkos during tower soaks, which can either be a straight line through the middle of the arena or left and right cleaves like Leviathan, depending on her animation. If her mouth glows, it's mid, and if her wings glow, it's left and right. Now that you have a basic idea, let's recap this whole phase with clear visuals. A head will spawn, cleaving in one direction of the arena. Two meteors will spawn in a random color, either orange or blue, and they will collide and cause either an AoE or a knockback. Try to go towards the blue one and away from the orange one. Gather in the middle for chains. Wait till the chains appear and then run out and go to your assigned tower. We assign them like melee range, tank healer. Depending on her animation, you might soak the towers inwards or outwards. And that is basically whole phase 1. After that she will raid wide AoE the entire party, followed by a tank buster. Hubris. This will target the first two players in the aggro list, so make sure as an off tank you're up there. Indicated by the markers, this is AoE, so try not to clip anyone. Another raid wide that will cause a head plus meteors to spawn. This time it's exactly the same, it will just be followed by a light party soak on healers. We gave the group with main tank and healer 1 north priority so we don't overlap. And we keep this consistent throughout the whole fight if light party soaks appear again. Now she will cast two rings on intercardinal positions that spawn two meteors. Those exact spots where the rings appear, those will be your safe spots. Just the order in which you go there might differ if it's orange meteors or blue meteors, and which one build up first. So in this case we have northeast and southwest as the safe spots, and the meteors will be orange color. Those ones are already built up, whereas the other one behind us is like kinda slower, so you know which meteors will collide first and which second. So just go to the first safe spot and then cross over to the next one. This is the exact spots where the two rings spawned in the beginning. Now she will cast another Elenkos, and this time her mouth is not glowing, but she is having tears in her face, which means left or right will be cleaved. And following is the hardest part of the fight, so if you understand that, the clear is not far away. It is called Twin Song's Aporia. 5 heads will spawn around the map, 4 on the edges and 1 in the middle, indicating a cleave with the arrow again. On the side that's not cleaved, that is currently safe, a donut will appear that you can hide in. Now this entire mechanic will move clockwise 2 steps, so don't overcomplicate it, don't overthink it will be always clockwise. After the second one you will go 1 clockwise again, but you kinda have to remember which spots were safe at which time. Because after the third explosion is where the brain twisting starts. Try to go into the middle of the arena as fast as possible so you can go to the safe spot as fast as possible. Every head will get a ring around them, either 1, 2 or 3. This will indicate which part of the mechanic the head will be mirroring. The rings work backwards though, so the middle has 1 ring right now, which means it will stay as it is. But don't worry too much about the rings right now, because I will explain them later. Just after you got the safe spot, there will be light party soaks on healers, group 1 is north, and check if her mouth or wings are glowing, because she will cast another Elenkos during this. I know this is kinda much, so let's break it down. Finding the first safe spot is kinda easy, so this is our first position. And every head with 3 rings in the end will mirror this position. Now everything moves clockwise, and everything with 2 rings in the end will mirror this position, and so on. So let's say we end up with rings that look kinda like this. The 2 rings on the middle face mean, for example, that the head moves backwards 1 spot and cleaves like in position number 2. The top right head has 1 ring and will explode again because it just exploded, making the bottom right the only safe spot to stand in. Another Hubris is cast, so the same tank buster as before, works exactly the same. And the first Despair Unforgotten will start casting. This will always be split on DPS and healers first. 4 people stack in the middle with a group soak and donuts around them, and 4 other people place their flare at the edge of the arena. In our case, this second Unforgotten Despair is a spread, so we just spread around the map and try not to overlap each other. This mechanic will be followed by Elencross, so check her animations if you have to go in the middle or left or right. Now you will get the exact opposite of what you had before, so if you were flare before, now you go stack, and if you had stack and donut before, now you will be the flares, so you can pre-position as she casts the third Despair Unforgotten, but don't be too happy yet as this is not over. Similar like in the last mechanic, after this we will get rings around us, simulating a mechanic that we already did, and we have to remember what we did in which order, so we can position for that mechanic again. In my case, I have 1 ring around me, which means I have the exact same mechanic I did 1 step before, so I will have a flare again. Remember that this can be shuffled around, it's not always the same order. You can be spread first, then flare on TBS, and then flare on tank healers. It is kinda RNG basically. For positioning, we have of course DPS melee in front, range in the back, and everyone else dead center. The spread positions are kinda whatever, and of course for the flares in the other group we have tanks in front and healers in the back, and the rest dead center. In case for the last mechanic you get 2 flares that usually take the same spot, we had tanks / healers adjust for the DPS. Plus make sure you're right dead center in the middle for the group soaks and donuts, as you might kill sages that are really innocent. Big raid wights coming up, so healers make sure to top of the party. In the end it will apply a bleed as well, so just make sure healing's on point. And we got to the last mechanic. 6 heads will spawn around the arena, and the Endsinger will throw sound waves at them. If the sound wave touches a head, the head will explode, so make sure you go to the side where just 1 little sound wave is going and not where the 3 are going, and check on which head is landing. Go away from that head and you will be pretty much safe. Upon exploding, the heads will pass over the sound waves, so you have to find a head that's not getting a sound wave and just stack behind that head. There are 6 heads and only 4 sound waves, so there is most likely always 2 safe spots, or they are right next to each other and there's a big safe spot. Don't be afraid to touch the sound waves, they do no damage, you can run through them. Keep an eye on the boss as she will do a middle cleave or the side cleave again, and from this point on we've seen every mechanic. This just becomes recycling Fantasy 14. We will have another set of meteors that will collide with each other, knocking us back into healer soaks, which is pretty much what was the third mechanic of the fight. There is literally no difference in this. She will cast the rings again that spawn 2 meteors. This time she will do 2 sets of them, but that's just the same thing, just twice in a row. So find the safe spot and get knocked in between of them. It's literally no big deal, just keep an eye on what explodes first. After that there will be 8 towers again that will have to be soaked, this time without chains, just basic 8 towers. More multi-hitting AoEs, so white mages, if you have this thing up, be a legend and place it, it's really helpful. Same for Macrocosmos or Panheimer by the way, they are all pretty good here. We will get another Twingsong Aphoria, which is basically 1-to-1 the exact same mechanic we played in the first place, so I won't show this again. After that she will do another End Song, which is 1-to-1 the exact same mechanic she did before. So find where is only the single sound wave, go to that side and just start dodging like you did before. So after half of the fight you basically saw every mechanic, and she literally copies them and modifies them just a little tiny bit sometimes, until she falls over or enrages. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you will have a blast progging this boss. And if you're interested in seeing us prog, make sure to check out the stream. We will be blind progressing Dragon Song Ultimate as well, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned. And if you are still watching and not clicked out yet, let me tell you that more than 95% of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you like this content, make sure to support me by subbing and have fun raiding.